Is it really over? Is this a sign that Taehyung has chosen a different path from BTS? And even more surprising, why did Jungkook look so shocked when the news of Taehyung's departure to Los Angeles spread widely? What really happened behind the scenes after HYBE allegedly got rid of one of BTS's most popular members? The shocking news comes as an exclusive report revealed that Kim Taehyung, better known as BTS's V, has been traveling secretly to Los Angeles, just days after wild speculation about his deteriorating relationship with HYBE's management surfaced. There was no official statement, no agenda explained to the public, but local media in South Korea and Hollywood paparazzi confirmed that V was seen arriving at Los Angeles International Airport with a serious expression and without an official escort on the part of the agency.
Why?
What was the reason behind his sudden departure? Jungkook, who is currently actively promoting solo and working on a number of collaborative projects, was reportedly very surprised by his close friend's decision. In a sudden live broadcast on the weverse platform, Jungkook said only one meaningful sentence: "I didn't expect him to leave so quickly." It was followed by a long silence and an emotional look on his face, as if he was harboring something much deeper than he could say. The public began to associate Taehyung's departure to LA with a series of heated rumors about internal tensions within HYBE. Over the past few months, BTS's loyal ARMY fans have noticed a change in Taehyung's attitude, who appears less and less in promotions for the group and company projects. Some even claim that Taehyung's involvement in the group's activities began to be significantly reduced after rumors appeared that he did not approve of the new creative direction imposed by the management. Furthermore, a source in the Korean entertainment industry, who did not want to be named, stated that Taehyung had been showing signs of frustration since the beginning of the year. He felt his ideas for solo career development were never really heard of. In fact, according to the source, Taehyung had considered forming his own agency in order to be free to create. Does this mean his departure to LA has to do with a business meeting? Or is it just a signal that he'll settle outside Korea? International media began to report Taehyung's whereabouts in Los Angeles since his photos circulated on social media. In one of the pictures, he is seen attending a closed-door meeting with a famous US music producer who has worked with some of the world's top artists. In fact, some speculation points to the possibility of a massive global collaboration, which would mark Taehyung's independent debut as a solo artist without HYBE's full involvement. More surprisingly, Jungkook seems completely ignorant of this plan. One of the reporters close to HYBE's circle said that Jungkook seemed confused and disappointed when he learned the news of Taehyung's departure from the media, not directly from his own person. This is certainly very surprising, given their notoriously strong closeness, even considered the most solid duo in BTS. Does Taehyung's departure also mark the breaking of their relationship? The public was further hit when some fans shared short videos from the past, in which Taehyung and Jungkook often talked about their dreams of conquering the world stage together. But now their paths seem to be beginning to diverge. In a recent interview, Taehyung said, "If I can't speak my heart, I'd better shut up or leave." Those words now feel like a prophecy come true. He didn't announce anything officially. He just left HYBE itself until now has not given an official response related to this news. They declined to comment when asked by Korean media, saying only that artists' activities are private and not all should be made public. This reclusive attitude reinforces the suspicion that something is being hidden. Some industry analysts have even mentioned that this may not be just another conflict, but rather a structural upheaval in deeper artist management. The big question now is, will Taehyung return to BTS, or is this the beginning of a new chapter in his life? Is this just a temporary respite to pursue his personal dreams outside the curbing system, or really the beginning of a permanent breakup? What is clear, this situation is not to be taken lightly. Jungkook, who has been known to be very loyal and protective of other members, now looks more moody and closed. In recent times, he has been more quiet, avoiding questions about Taehyung and only giving a slight smile when fans ask about the group's future. A drastic change from Jungkook, who is usually full of passion and openness. Some observers say that this moment is a harsh reflection of how the Korean entertainment industry system sometimes does not give enough space for artists to develop according to their identity. Taehyung, with all his artistic talent and unique vision, may feel constrained by a structure that demands only productivity, not personal expression. However, behind all the questions and speculation, one thing is certain. Taehyung's decision to go to LA was not a spontaneous act. He knew what he was doing, and it seemed that he was preparing something much bigger than the public could imagine. And if the news of his global collaboration and solo project is real, then the world should be ready to welcome Taehyung's new era, an era that may no longer be in the shadow of BTS. Jungkook, on the other hand, must face the harsh reality that one of his closest companions may have chosen a different path. Will this affect Jungkook's own solo project? Will he still survive under HYBE, or secretly start designing his own path like Taehyung? In the history of the entertainment world, this kind of separation and conflict is not new. But when it happens to an icon of BTS's class, which over the years has become a symbol of unity, friendship, and struggle, then the impact becomes enormous. It's not just about two idols who have different visions. It's about how one decision can change everything. To date, Taehyung has not made any statements on his social media. His account remains silent and only shows the last upload a few weeks ago that had a melancholy theme. No clarification, no official announcement. Only silence is meaningful, and in that silence, there is a powerful message that only those who are sensitive enough can understand. That something is happening, and it will never be the same again. While the world waits, the big question continues to hang. Is this really the end of BTS as we know it? Or is it just the beginning of something bigger, bolder, and more true to who they really are? Taehyung has already started. Now it's Jungkook's turn, and we can all just wait, with anxious hearts and watchful eyes for any clues that come our way. But in the midst of a wave of speculation, public emotion, and conspiracy theories that continue to spread widely on various social media, it is important to emphasize one crucial thing that often goes unnoticed by many. The news about Taehyung being removed by HYBE and Jungkook's shock reaction is not true. After a more in-depth search through various official sources and clarifications provided indirectly by the relevant parties, the actual facts actually show that the rumor has grown out of control, flavored by misinformation, and exploited by a number of parties for the sake of sensation and clicks. Taehyung's departure to Los Angeles, which was initially perceived as a form of escape or resistance to management, turned out to be only part of his personal and professional agenda that had been planned for a long time, with no direct connection to the issue of dismissal or internal conflict. HYBE, through a brief but firm statement released after various speculative reports emerged, stated that all activities of BTS members, including Taehyung, are still in full coordination and running, according to their respective schedules. There was no freezing of activities, no elimination of groups, and no unilateral intervention as portrayed by a number of wild narratives on the internet. The agency also emphasized that the members' current solo activities are part of a career diversification strategy that they have supported since the beginning of the group's hiatus due to mandatory military service. Same with Jungkook. In several live broadcasts taken in the middle of his solo promotions, he showed no signs of anger, disappointment, or shock as many reported. On the contrary, Jungkook has repeatedly expressed his sincere support for all BTS members, including Taehyung, in the process of pursuing their personal dreams. It clearly says that their relationship remains solid and full of respect, even when they have to take different paths in the current phase of their careers. More than that, it should be emphasized that Taehyung's departure to LA is not something that should be viewed negatively. Quite the contrary, it shows how vast a global network and ambition he is building as an artist who wants to express his artistic identity more freely. On numerous occasions, Taehyung himself has voiced his desire to learn more from the international music market and collaborate with musicians across genres. then it is quite natural for him to travel to such a center of the world entertainment industry as Los Angeles. Confusion also occurs when the public interprets Taehyung's silence on social media as a form of protest or expression of disappointment with the agency. In fact, since his debut, Taehyung has been known as a private person on social media and prefers to show his emotions through works of art and music, rather than through uploads or dramatic statements. So it is very inappropriate if silence is interpreted as a form of latent conflict. The same applies to the relationship between members. Despite being in each other's projects, there is no indication that the friendly relationship between them is deteriorating. It is precisely the few small interactions captured on camera, both in the form of open support and hidden comments, that show that their bond is maintained and strengthened. Taehyung and Jungkook, like the rest of BTS, have been through a lot together, and one distinct career phase isn't an excuse to create a narrative that they've broken up. Taehyung is not being pushed aside. It is developing. Jungkook wasn't surprised. He was actually supportive. And BTS, despite being on hiatus, is still a solid, powerful, and meaningful entity. They did not disperse. They just take a break to come back with the best version of themselves.